Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our regular board meeting for Wednesday, February 8th, 2023. Before we begin, I'd like to recognize with gratitude that we're here on the unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, and I know we're all grateful to be part of this community and working on these lands. With that, we will get underway. Mr. Robbins.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll start with a motion to approve the agenda as circulated.
That a motion's been moved by Director Marvin, seconded by Director Acton. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Mr. Robbins.
Adoption of the minutes from January 25th, that the minutes of the regular board meeting of January 25th, 2023 be adopted.
Thank you. If there are no errors or omissions, a motion to adopt those minutes. Moved by Director Martman, seconded by Director Justice. All those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Mr. Robbins.
There is no business arising from those minutes, which moves you to public input period. There's no one registered online.
So we'll go to the gallery. Welcome. We have a few minutes here for public input. Please step to the lectern and make sure the microphone light is on by pressing the blue button and pointed towards you. Thank you and welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, distinguished members of the board. You all look so amazing, and I got to see your photos being taken today. So by way of introduction, my name is Kim Bernard. I'm a 30-year resident of Shawnigan Lake, and I am of Ukrainian settler ancestry. My family and I are uninvited guests on the traditional lands of the Hulkaminam-speaking peoples, and we acknowledge and celebrate their current connections to each other in the places where we live, work, and play, and it's an honor to be here today. So as I stand here, I want to draw to your attention the immense privilege I've had to be engaged in my community as a dedicated community volunteer. Since 2018, I served on the Solid Waste Amendment panel for the plan in the committee here at this table, and I've also worked to engage my community in cleanup days every year, including during the pandemic. So I want to acknowledge the support of our area director, and most recently to bring us all together as volunteers at the volunteer fair this past Saturday. So Sierra, you should take a bow. That was an amazing, amazing event, and it did really bring life to our community and celebrate that we're coming out of the pandemic. Now, the other privilege that I've had is to serve, I think in the spirit of that unsinkable optimism, to work alongside the volunteers of the Shawnigan Basin Society. And I'm a little bit nervous because I know that this topic has been coming up again and again, and you're probably sick of hearing of it, but they will find a way. And one of the reasons they have found a way is they've attracted collaborators. And so the newest Rotary Club in town, the Rotary Eco Club of Shawnigan Lake, is the first of its kind in Canada. We're honored to be working and serving the people of Shawnigan. And we're honored to come alongside our fellow environmental stewards to continue that work. And in the vacuum, in the sense that they have their source of funding has dried up from the government, but there's so many other creative ways that groups like this can stay alive. And we celebrate the fact that our club can meet in this hybrid space with this immense, the table is literally the biggest physical asset they have, and it just brings life to the space when you can imagine 24 people seated around it and the synergy that happens there. Plus we're surrounded by visuals of our incredible watershed and the interconnectedness of all of it. And we're inviting in 20-somethings to also practice friendships and communication amongst each other and vision and hope for the future. And so when I asked the Legislative Services to circulate a document, which was the original vision for the space, it would have been wonderful to be standing here because 10 years later, that was from 2013, and to say to you all, thank you for the strong and vibrant collaborative effort that we've done together to steward this watershed, to have the data, to have the stories, to have the resident engagement that is needed to move forward with all the challenges that we're going to be facing, whether it's climate change or isolation because we've had a disaster such as Turkey's just experienced. So we all really need to pull together. And unfortunately, I can't celebrate that because there is a sense of deliberate disconnect here. There's been a pattern. I feel it's unjust. And I stand here hoping to learn in the next 4 years what it's like to serve in this role, to steward my community, to hopefully be considered worthy to sit at this table. And so I have nothing to lose but to learn as much as I can through immersion, through serving together. And I have learned what this society has done. I stand in awe of the diversity of talent at that table. And I feel that they are worthy of support. And in fact, I'm going to read to you from a section of the BC Lake Keepers Manual. So I went online to pages 14 and 15, and you'll nod your head knowingly. It says, due to a lack of resources, government agencies are unable to routinely sample or monitor every lake. Volunteer groups can play an important role in protecting and managing lakes by taking on a citizen science role in monitoring them. By collecting essential data, observing trends, and reporting findings, stewardship groups can provide vital information to the government and to their community. And to go on, they also advocate for education, for community engagement, for speaking with their neighbors to gauge local concerns, by attending local government meetings and so on. So I want to thank Cliff Evans for showing me the way on how that's done. He's always been polite, always been respectful, and always just absolutely a gem, one of our elders to follow. So let me wrap up. I'm sure I'm coming to the end of my time, but I would really like to say that I have studied what it means to be an active local electoral area director. I've looked at how we're supposed to be fostering the economic, social, and environmental well-being of the community. And I feel, again, once again, I'm going to make that statement. There's been a deliberate disconnect with this one particular group. I feel it's unjust. And I feel as a community volunteer that it's up to people like me to speak and to make a positive difference. So thank you for listening. I would really like to say more, but I don't know how much time I have. So.
Sorry, almost a minute over, and it is a
Thank you.
requirement of public input to be on an item on the agenda.
And so the item is water quality and also just understanding that our drinking water is very precious to us and we all can play a part. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Pretty a tenuous connection, but we'll let it stand. Thank you. Any other public input on items on the agenda before we resume our meeting? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Mr. Robbins. Committee commission reports.
We're just moving right on to committee and commission reports. CR1 is the report and recommendations of the Committee of the Whole of January 25th, 2023. There is one recommendation that the Cowichan Valley Transit Future Action Plan 2023 be endorsed.
Moved by Director Morrison, seconded by Director Manhas. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries.
CR2 is the report and recommendations of the Electoral Area Services Committee meeting of February 1, 2023.
Director
There are
Nicholson.
7 recommendations.
Well, the Electoral Area Services Committee recommends that, there's quite a few of them. Maybe I won't read them all out. 1 to 7. Has everyone read them? Okay. So we recommend those, and I move them.
So number 1 through 7, seconded by Director Abbott. Any discussion? And seeing none wanting to be pulled, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed. Motion carries. These are, next are for electoral area directors only. Director Nicholson.
Yes, does anyone want anything pulled here? Director Atkin?
Okay, number 2.
Number 2? Did you want yours pulled? No. Okay, number 2 is pulled, so I will move 3 through 12.
Seconded by Director Segal. So 3 through 12, this is for electoral area directors only. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries.
And Recommendation number 2 is that development variance permit DVP 22B04, 2700 Worthington Road, PID 029-845-386, be referred.
Wait, that was the one I wanted.
That's the one that's pulled. She's just reading it out.
New resolution for it that I wanted to propose.
Sorry, just let her read it out, but before anybody moves it, it will go to Director Acton.
I can go to Director Acton right now.
Okay, why not? Director Acton.
Sorry.
That's okay.
That's gonna, so, as you can see, it's asking for a permit from the Ministry of Transportation that has been obtained. So there's a new proposal so that this is not referred back and start the process again through electoral areas. So, the resolution that, has been presented by staff is that development variance permit number DVP 22B04, 2700 Worthington Road, PID 029-845-386 be issued.
Thank you. So that's been moved by Director Acton, seconded by Director Wilson. Discussion? This is for electoral area directors only. Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed. Motion carries.
And that's my report.
Thank you, Director Nicholson. Director McGonigal.
Thank you very much. Just wondering if the one published should be rescinded through you to Legislative Services?
That was
As
a
it was
recommendation to the board, so I put that through to Mr. Robbins.
No, that was just a recommendation. This motion will go into these minutes and be the official action of the board.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. CR3, Mr. Robbins.
CRC is the report and recommendations of the Committee of the Whole from earlier today, February 8th, 2023. There are 6 recommendations that came forward from the Committee of the Whole.
Director Morrison.
What's your pleasure, Mr. Chair?
Well, we did talk about them about an hour and a half ago, but it's really the pleasure of the board. For those attending online or in the public, and you weren't here this morning, you can check the YouTube for the video or the minutes for the details. Or if you're here and you want them, I can hand them to you. I have them printed out here. So it's up to you, Director Morrison, if you want to see how fast you can read off all that text.
No, thanks.
Okay, so
Move them as a block,
moving 1 through 6,
correct?
including sub-points, seconded by Director Wilson. Any discussion on those items? If we didn't discuss them long enough this morning? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Mr. Robbins.
No director report, staff reports, no public hearing minutes. Moving to bylaws for electoral area directors only, BEA1, that's CVRD bylaw number 4449, official community plan amendment bylaw 2022 be granted first and second readings.
Moved by Director Abbott, seconded by Director Segal. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Mr. Robbins.
BEA2, that first, second, and third readings of CVRD bylaw 4333, official community plan amendment bylaw 2023 be rescinded.
Moved by Director Segal, seconded by Director McClinton. Any discussion? Seeing none, for electoral area directors only, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries.
And that CVRD bylaw number 4433, official community plan amendment bylaw 2023 be granted first and second readings as amended.
Moved by Director Segal, seconded by Director McClinton. All those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries.
And finally, BEA3, that third reading of CVRD bylaw number 4334, South Couch and zoning amendment bylaw 2020 be rescinded.
Moved by Director Segal, seconded by Director Wilson. Any discussion? Again, for EA directors only, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries.
Moving through your agenda brings you to question period. Questions that can be addressed to the chair?
I'm assuming we have no folks registered online?
No one online.
Okay, do we have any questions from those in the gallery? Cliff, you don't send other people to do your business. Sorry, Mr.
Pardon me.
Evans, as is
Pardon me,
appropriate.
Mr. Chair. So I would like to once again address you and the board and review just what it is that we are supposed to be doing with organizations that are super keen to serve their community and to support them. So we are to be liaisoning with community groups. We are supposed to be communicating clearly with them, openly with them. Understanding should flow both ways. And my question is, what's happened in Shawnigan Lake and how can we fix it with the Shawnigan Basin Society? Thank you.
Yeah, so you're putting the chair in a difficult place, because as I've spoke with Mr. Evans in the past, I don't have the whole history there to unpack for you. I'm not going to poll the board or staff to see what their input is on that. I will happily facilitate further discussion with you, but I don't think that I can answer that question for you right now. But I think it starts with on all sides to act in a constructive and collaborative way.
And that would be my next question is, what would the next steps be and how can we move forward in a constructive and collaborative way?
I think that's maybe an existential question, but I think it starts with not. I'm going to reserve my personal comments for a different venue, but I think that I'd be happy to engage with you offline and try and see if I can facilitate that happening.
That would be much appreciated by anyone and everyone around this table. I have the deepest respect for all of you and the work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who wishes to pose a question? Seeing none, Mr. Robbins, I think that moves us to a motion to go into closed session.
Motion to go into closed session under the Community Charter, Section 90, subsection 1A and subsection C.
Looking for that motion, Director Morrison and seconded by Director Martman. All those in favor? Any opposed? We are closed, and we'll resume closed session at 2 p.m.